do you draw your inspiration from?
I find my design inspiration everywhere, whether it's walking the streets of New York, Bangkok, Sydney, Australia, London, or Paris, or Madison, Wisconsin.
I'm a New Yorker, so I'm overwhelmed with inspiration just walking down the street.
What really drives me is working with specifically the New York clientele and having a small part in making somebody's home a little bit more beautiful and certainly these days a lot more functional.
I have amazing clients who have done many, many kitchens well before me, and they inspire me because I learn a lot from them.
Clients, in a way, I would say are probably the number one, because you may have one client who's looking at something very unique that you can then manipulate and use in other settings. So I'm very excited by the challenges that clients present me with.
The magazines I read range from the classics that a designer might, such as House Beautiful, Veranda, Interior Design, to things that are a little more out there for designers. Women's Wear Daily. I wouldn't live without reading my Women's Wear Daily. Fashion is a great place for inspiration.
I guess I see art sort of as just a big part of the world, and there's a lot of things that fall under that umbrella for me. Architecture, of course, that's a given. But also fashion, people's lifestyles.
A lot of it goes back to playing with Lego as a kid and just not only building houses, but building scale models of pieces of furniture.
I have a 6-year-old son. He loves to do Lego. And I watch him create things and he'll assemble things. And in all of his work, there's a strong sense of symmetry and balance.
My inspiration comes from different places. I tend to try not to do the stereotypical kitchen or the stereotypical kitchen design. So I try not to do cliches.
Over the last 30 years, I've had all sorts of inspiration. Other artists that I've worked with, traveling, food, buildings.
I love product and visual merchandising. The store windows at Bergdorf Goodman are always incredible. So I really get inspiration from everywhere, just strolling around the city on my way to the office every morning.
It's not so much about finding something which I'm going to copy. It's an element of the total picture. So it's one part of a much larger picture.
I get inspired by mechanical aesthetics or, it just varies. I try to get inspired by things that are not typical.
For about the last 10 years or so, I've been particularly interested in the relationship between science and nature, and how essentially they're two sides of the same coin. They're both philosophies of life. And I think one of the most important bridges is design and technology. That design and technology are somehow possible bridges between these different philosophical interpretations of what life is all about.
I get it from nature, I get it from just looking about. I'll look at a texture, a fabric, an edifice, a tree, and something about it will have a pattern or a finish or something unique in the color, and it gets me motivated to think about how could I use it somewhere in my design, in my mind.
And you never stop working. Sometimes I'll wake up at 3 a.m, make some notes, take some photographs, do some sketches, or if I'm away on vacation somewhere, I might see something which is just the right color, just the right shape.